Welcome everyone to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I'm your hardcore host Rick Cat, and I'm joined by a hardcore crew. First, he's the incomparable Lance Mons. Lance, welcome.
Well, it's going to be a fun one, and it's going to be a long damn weekend.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah, we're talking about WrestleMania. There's night one and night two. Why WWE still does that, I have no fucking idea. And of course, I'd like to welcome back a good friend of ours, James from the Big Easy. James, what's going on?
We can't find a Divas correspondent, so we just bring me back.
Well, you know what? It's good that you always we have you on deck.
Yeah, good to be back.
All right. Well, let's talk about FTR tonight. FTR is challenging the Guns for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and they put a stipulation: if they lose to the Guns, FTR will leave AEW forever. Now, what's kind of very interesting about all this is their contract is up next month, guys. So, James, I'm going to throw this to you. What do you think this is? Do you think this is just a storyline, or do you think this is their goodbye, farewell tour?
I honestly think this might be their farewell tour, because you would think that they would be the one that takes the title off of the Guns, but I think they're done. And also, I think it's actually next week's. It's not this week; it's next week's.
I thought it was on tonight.
I think they say they're advertising it for New York, but I don't know if New York is this week.
Okay, I'll have to check my card. I do apologize, but even nevertheless, this is still definitely a topic to talk about. Lance, your thoughts?
Well, part of me says they're leaving because of, well, some of the treatment they've got there before, but my gut's telling me they ain't going no damn well.
All right. Well, and again, I really hope there is. I'm doing a little bit of look, and I'm checking out right now. And no, apparently it's not on tonight, so I do apologize for that mistake. That's on me, guys. Well, we're going to move along on to our next topic. Stacy Keibler has now entered in the Hall of Fame among several others, Rey Mysterio, the Great Muta, and I forget who else was in. Oh, and the late Andy Kaufman. So far we have a pretty good lineup.
Boss, there was one that was just named this morning. James actually brought it to my attention.
Okay.
The recipient of the Warrior Award will be Tim White.
I don't give a fuck about the Warrior Award. I really don't. I've never seen all these extra side ones. It's like just WWE's like running out of ideas. So congratulations to Tim White, but I don't care. James, what's your take on that whole the Warrior Award?
Well, let's say this. I felt that Tim White doesn't need the Warrior Award. I feel like Tim White needs it by himself. They don't need the award, especially of how well he does, not just as a referee, but as an agent, doing the traveling, especially with being Andre the Giant's traveling person during his time.
But again, I mean, now, I mean, I've just seen other people get this award. I'm like, okay, yeah, congratulations, clap, 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 and, move along. But you know what, guys? Why don't we get on to the main card, and that's going to be WrestleMania 39. And of course, I just got a message from Joseph Knight. He's going to be a little bit late, but he is on his way. So, one of the first matches is going to be Austin. These matches are not in any particular order. So, whatever happens on night one or night two, I have no idea.
Well, boss, before we get in there, Terry's in the chat room, and he says, "Afternoon, all."
Hey, what's going on, Terry?
Oh, a new voice, or Joe is using, or is that a new guy? Well, actually, James has been hanging around us for a long damn time.
Yeah, James has been coming and going, so he is, he's definitely no stranger to HWR.
Speaking of no
What?
strangers, it's Joe.
I didn't do anything. It was like that when I got there.
Yeah. Famous last words. And of course, everybody from the Skeleton Realms. He's our male protagonist of HWR, Joseph Knight.
I like that intro. I should leave and come back and get another one. Huh?
And it's Joe at Skeletons Realm.
I didn't even say anything bad yet.
I think male protagonist is more than enough. I think everybody knows
Yes.
what that means.
I'm ready to go. WrestleMania is coming, so normally I'd be excited, but let's see how this works out.
Yeah, well, we were talking about like night 1 and night 2 bullshit. The matches we have lined up are not in any order, so that's just gonna be, I don't really give a shit because I don't know how fans can watch 2 shows in a weekend. I couldn't go to 2 concerts in a weekend. Explain this to me, Joe.
You know what? I used to love WrestleMania was one day, and it was extravaganza. You waited all year for the best matches, the best stories to climax, or new ones to begin. And then, WrestleMania 3 was the biggest one. They had 12 matches. I loved it. Every match was great. Then the other one started getting a little slower. Now this 2-day thing. It's like, well, let's just throw everybody in. Let's give them a freaking bunch of days. So let's all showcase our talent. That's fine. But then it shouldn't be WrestleMania. It should be like Clash of Champions, or it should be something else.
WrestlePalooza.
There you go. I like that. We'll write that down, somebody. But in the case here, Rick, we've seen these WrestleManias. They don't really live up to the hype of the grandest show of the year anymore. I don't know. It's just me. I just don't. It doesn't as hit me as it used to be.
I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm gonna tell you, believe me. I'm only gonna watch one night, so I'm not watching 2 nights on my weekends. Weekends usually where I go out and I party, and so I'm taking, I'll do Sunday night because I guess that's the second night where they have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. There are a couple of other good ones, but I know I'm gonna miss the first set on Saturday night, so I'll fuck it, I'll just read the results. But Joe, before we do to the WrestleMania, I do want to ask you about the on Dynamite where FTR challenged the Guns, and they said that if they lose, they will leave AEW forever.
Yeah, wow. Isn't that did they get a better offer from WWE?
Well, I don't know. All I do know,
that's-
what is known, is that next month their contract expires.
Yep. FTR has come a long way. They've won many titles, and I think we could honestly say, and we can all agree on, when we talk about tag teams of the modern era, I'm not counting the Usos because basically they got their wins, quote unquote wins, because they have family connections. You talk about other talented teams that are out there that just don't cut it. When you look at FTR, they're old school. They go in there, they do this. Every time I see them, my God, it reminds me of the Andersons. It reminds me of Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, and they just entertain me. They're not the flashy like the Young Bucks. They're not the rapping morons like freaking the Acclaimed. But FTR goes in there and they do the job. They get it done, and it's so fitting that they're so old school. They even use the old Midnight Express theme that WCW had for them in the 90s. I believe that's what it was. Um, I'm hoping that they don't make that jump back because they're just going to be buried under Usos and whoever else is around.
And they go back to using the revival.
Right, and it's not going to do them any favors. They're going to in a year they'll probably be under the thumb of Triple H and the Usos and all this, and they'll get that great luster. They'll get that beginnings, and then after 6 months to a year, they'll be back down jobbing to everybody. So stay in AEW, keep growing with AEW, and I really want to see them win the titles. The Guns accomplished what they wanted. They won their titles. They became champions. The storyline with Tim Dunn and the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn and all this finally is over. Let's move on and let's give the belts to a real tag team that can really defend them. And I'm hoping that these guys actually get this win and they can move on because that's the only sensible thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But you know what? We're gonna move on to WrestleMania now. We're gonna go into our first match. Um, Austin Theory will be taking on John Cena. And honestly, guys, I think that if John Cena is a real smart guy, I think he's gonna put Austin Theory over because I think honestly, Theory needs this win. That's just my opinion. What do you think, Lance?
Theory.
All right, James, over to you.
Well, since this is the first match, Lance don't have to worry about it. But the smart idea is Theory because John Cena, besides the tag team match, has lost the last couple of matches.
Oh. All right, Joe, over to you.
All right, first of all, let's get myself set here. John Cena, the old man himself, coming back to take on Austin Theory for the United States Championship. Honestly, uh, by the way, hi James, how you doing? Um, I see this as a Theory win. He needs this win over John Cena to cement himself in not only WrestleMania but more further in the WWE. He needs this win over a proven veteran. And no matter how many lousy commercials he does or movies he does or TV shows, Cena doesn't need a win. He doesn't need a belt. This is safe to say that this is going to be Theory all the way.
Yeah, I think that would be the right way to go. And of course, now we have the finale match between father and son Ray and Dominic Mysterio. Um, right now, honestly, I'm on the fence. You would think that Dominic Mysterio would give his, would get the win, making him even more of a heated heel. But I have a weird feeling that they have to have a happy ending. They got to put Ray over Lance.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, this is not going to be Ray's swan song.
Yeah,
He says he wants to keep wrestling until he's 50, and I believe he's like 48 right now.
well, he doesn't necessarily mean in WWE, but yeah, he probably will stay with the company for the next 2 years. And I really.
So I'm going with Ray.
All right, James, over to you.
By the way, hi Joe. Um, Dominic's gonna win by hook or by crook.
All right. All right, Joe, over to you.
I like these short responses. Leaves enough airtime for me to rant and banter. So, hi Terry, how you doing? Mark over at the YouTube channel says Cena will do the honors. He's been bulletproof for years. Yes, and now as far as Eddie
I
Jr.
keep shooting and my aim's off.
Well, you stop going to the school of stormtroopers, and we'll be all right. Uh, Looking at Eddie Jr. Oh, I'm sorry, Rey Mysterio Jr.'s son, Dominic. This is a no-brainer. This has to go to Rey. He's being inducted to the Hall of Fame. This will be his. Even though this year, this December, he'll turn 49, and he says he's going to retire when he's 50. So this is going to be a big match for him. You'll probably see a more reduced time for Rey Mysterio. He's going to be done. This is kind of, let's face it, Dominic doesn't need a win here. Dominic doesn't need, he can rebound many pay-per-views later. So I think he'll do the honors and let his dad get over because, hey, it's a Hall of Fame thing. His dad is getting the honors. Might as well do that. Give it to him.
All right. Like I said, I mean, I
Rick,
kind of.
I also want to throw something in I did find out about. We joke about the whole um, Eddie Guerrero theme here with Dominic.
Yep.
Isn't it a coinkydink that Vicky Guerrero's contract is done in AEW. And if they wanted to say, here's your daddy's mommy, here is Vicky Guerrero, Eddie's, widowed wife. So how funny would that be if Eddie, or should I say Vicky Guerrero, pops up and said, "That's my son.
Well,
Excuse me."
if I'm not mistaken, I think I read in one of her interviews she doesn't really think any of this gimmick is the storyline's funny at all, especially when she brings up Eddie. So I find that unless she gets paid like a huge chunk of money, I don't see that happening.
We've seen Vicky Guerrero do worse.
This is true.
I kind of want to mention something about that.
Okay.
Vicky said that part was a lie, but she enjoys it. But her contract with AEW doesn't expire until July, so that's why she's just sitting at home.
Yeah, it's like right now they don't seem to have anything for her. And it's a shame, but it kind of sucks when you have somebody who works for you and you sit on the sidelines. But again, we're gonna get back to WrestleMania. The next match is gonna be the women's showcase of Immortals match, and it's a it's a 8-women tag team match, and it could be Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya and Shotzi Blackheart, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and last night Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville were the final competitors, and they are now in this women's showcase of Immortals. So, to be honest with you, if I had to pick a winners, I think it would be Ronda and Baszler, but that's just my pick. What about you, Joe?
You know what? The way I see it, definitely is going to be Ronda and Shayna. I know in numerous videos that Ronda Rousey has done on Facebook, and I've shared it to the HCBR channel. She really wants this match, and she wants it with Shayna Baszler. So they could be the women's version of the Road Warriors. So, and technically, if they put it like this, let's kidding aside the raccoon makeup and all that crap. If these two girls decide, or should I say two women, decided to literally go and start kicking people's ass legitimately, they are former MMA fighters. They could handle easily, let's crying Liv Morgan and flat-chested Raquel Rodriguez. As much as I love Natalya, she's great. She's the MILF of the WWE. Shotzi is not a bad-looking girl either, but she's not going to get anywhere with this. Is this for the tag title, women's tag title?
No, this is just a match, a WrestleMania match.
All right, yeah, still, I see this as straight. This will be a straight Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey win.
All right. James, over to you.
This is going to be I agree with Ronda and Shayna's going to win this. This is probably going to propel them to a tag team title opportunity later down the line.
All right. Lance.
Can I ask one thing real quick?
Yep.
James, who is the women's tag team champions at this time?
Lita and Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Lance, all right, final pick.
I've got a bad damn feeling it's going to be Chelsea and Sonya.
Really? That's interesting. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Moving on, we have Edge versus Finn Balor, who will play as the Demon in Hell in a Cell. Now, I saw Edge's promo where he says he's the devil. Apparently, he's been stealing ideas from MJF, but who knew? There are rumors or suggestions that he's going to bring back something from his time in the Brood. But again, we really don't know. If I had to pick, I'd have to give it to Finn Balor, because Finn Balor's been taking a few losses, and let's be honest, Edge, as I think Joe always says, he has nothing left to prove. James, what's your thoughts?
Very hard one. This is a toss-up. but I'm gonna give it to Edge. I just have a feeling that they're gonna give Edge this last win.
All right. Joe.
No, Finn Balor's been jobbing way too much. He needs this win. I don't see anything to say that Edge deserves. Edge is already defeated, I think, the entire Judgment Day badly. Finn Balor's been jobbed so badly that if he doesn't get a win, his career is over. He might as well go back to being in job status. So he needs this win. Now there is rumor that somebody's supposed to Brood Wise supposed to come and help be at Edge's corner. Now a lot of people point fingers to it's being Gangrel, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I would think more of a Christian returning to kind of build that up. But Rick, Balor needs this really badly. He doesn't need another chance to be on his back,
All right.
especially at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Lance, final pick.
Well, I just want to say this. People, we're getting something we've wanted for years. The Demon at WrestleMania. But also, I got to give it to Finn at this one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Moving on.
Wait, over at the YouTube channel, we've got this. This is a couple of things that's going on here. Terry says Vicky has publicly stated recently that once her AEW contract's up, she's done with wrestling and moving on. It sounds like like an influencer home shopping network venture. Oh God, no. Triple H is rumored to be pushing Raquel Rodriguez hard after WrestleMania, and he says Battle of the Beards. Gangrel is supposed to be involved in an Edge match somehow, and after all this time, they need to push Balor back into the positive. They buried him for a long time. That's what it was said from Terry over at the YouTube channel.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And right now, so the next match we have Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. This match I really want to see, and I hope it's on night 2. I personally think
it's the main event for night 1.
Oh well, fuck it. So if you ask my opinion, I think Rhea Ripley is going to get this. I think she should get it for all the right reasons. If not, it's just going to show where she stands in the hierarchy. At the end of the day, it'll be Charlotte Flair over Rhea Ripley every single time. And I think Charlotte's won 14 fucking titles. 14. And she's not even like 40 yet. I don't even know how old she is. But, so it's time for her to, step back and, let the other ladies give the wins. And I think Ripley should get that win. Lance, over to you.
Strictly because what they did to her in the no fan WrestleMania a few years ago. They need to give it to Rhea.
All right. James, over to you.
Rhea's been on her back so many times for Charlotte. She needs this victory.
Absolutely. Joe, there you go.
I gotta say, definitely goes to Ripley. I don't want to see no more Charlotte Flair. I'm tired of seeing that she's not her dad. Reed needs to step away, needs to keep tucking his fucking penis between his legs and start moving on to something else. We don't need Charlotte Flair anymore. Rhea Ripley, after another one like Finn Balor, so many times I've been on her back, lost too many matches, done so many jobs for other people. It's time for her to get this win. Judgment Day needs to start getting the wins, or they're going to be irrelevant.
Yeah. You know what, Joe? I got to ask you a question. You have to wonder if Andre has found Captain Winky yet.
Yeah, you know what? Knowing how he is, he's probably sucking on that Winky.
Ay, mijo, mijo.
Holy shit, he's bigger than mine.
Oh, Jesus Christ, look what I opened up.
Oh, my
All
God.
right.
Wait a minute. Wait, I got one more.
All right.
Please call immigration. I don't want to get hurt anymore.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, moving on. This is going to be a 6-women tag match. It is going to be Becky Lynch and Lita, who are the Women's Tag Team Championship, and the lovely Trish Stratus, who will take on Damage Control. That's Becky, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Guys, when it comes to WrestleMania, you know how they are. They got to pick the favorites out now. Damage Control would obviously want to get that heat, but I have a weird feeling that WWE is just going to give it all to the popularity to Lita, Becky, and Trish Stratus. Joe, your pick.
I'm going to go the completely opposite. There's rumors that Trish Stratus might go heel and turn against Lita, maybe to set up something down the road. You got two iconic, beautiful ladies, and then you got the man that she needs to fix her eye. You know, honestly, the better match out of all this would be Lita versus Trish later. So Damage Control needs this. Bailey needs this. What a better setup for a match or series later than have Bailey taking on Becky Lynch. You know, that's more a better match than seeing whatever fucking Dakota Sky, Io Sky. You know, no, we don't. Those other two are irrelevant. You're gonna see Trish turn against the team, most likely attack Lita. Becky's team is going to get the win, and you're going to see probably like a feud between Lita and Trish later, maybe even a SummerSlam possibility.
All right, Lance, what's your take on that spin?
Well, I had heard the rumors of Trish want being in a match at SummerSlam, but I wasn't too sure about that. So my original pick was going to be the Legends and Becky, but I'm actually going with Damage Control now.
All right, Lance, the Queen of the Divas.
All right. It's still going to be Trish, Lita, and Becky, but Trish is going to turn on Becky. The rumor is not Trish and Lita; it's Trish and Becky at SummerSlam. But since they have time to build it up, they don't need a long build. I say the Legends and Becky.
All right. Well, see, nevertheless, it's something definitely going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. And then next, we have Brock Lesnar versus Omos. And I honestly think for the first time, Brock Lesnar is the underdog in the match. I mean, we've seen him dominate a lot of people throughout the years. I don't think there's been one wrestler that he's not been able to, beat the hell out of. And you got this guy, Omos, who's like 7+ foot. He was like 400 pounds. I think they weighed him on Raw the other night. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to give this one to Omos, Lance.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. This has possibility for shit match of the night for one reason. Brock needs somebody he can flat out throw around to have a good match. Omos needs somebody he can flat out throw around to have a good match. Ain't no way in hell either one of these is going to let the other one throw them around. But I'm giving it to Omos because I've heard Brock might be hitting the door really soon.
That I can believe. I mean, Brock, comes and goes, and he still gets his big paycheck nevertheless. James, your pick.
Somebody wake me up when this match is over. Brock Lesnar wins, LOL.
Yeah. All right. Joe, your thoughts.
Brock has already done its time. They should technically give this to Omos to just further Omos along. Honestly, I think that's the smart case here to do. But knowing Brock, he's probably going to get like his ass handed to him, make it look good, and probably going to get the win after, unless they do a whole Bobby Lashley interferes afterwards. But I look at this as if Omos doesn't win, it really he's not. It's not a real thing that we have to go. Oh well, Omos is still new. he can be famous Omos or famous Amos later. So I think this is going to be a Brock win. He's going to work for it though. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen guys that's like that size, and you can look back to like somebody like Andre the Giant. While yes, he's gonna be dominant, but he's not gonna be really. He's not gonna show anything special in the ring. He's just gonna toss people around and just smack them around. You're not gonna see this guy do drop kicks. You're not gonna see him do anything else. It's just
he's not going to be the giant Paul White from his early
exactly
what was it, WCW days, where he was doing big drop kicks and all that.
He was also doing that in WWE. But yes, yeah, I don't see this guy having any real agility at all. So, all right, moving on. We have the Usos will defend their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I myself think that Owens and Zayn should get this win. There's no reason why it shouldn't. You had the Usos who had the titles for God knows how long. They've dominated for the past, year and a half plus. So I don't see any reason why the Usos should not have to drop the titles. James, over to you.
How this storyline is, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens should win the title, and they will win the title.
All right, Lance, over to you.
It's damn time for the Usos to drop those belts. So hell yes, Owens and Zayn.
All right, Joe, last thoughts.
Same thing to culminate this story. They should definitely give the belt to Zayn and Owens. It's just been a long time coming. Zayn hasn't really. He's been played so many times as the lackey for the Usos. He's gone back and forth with Owens. I think this is the only time they've actually competed for a tag titles and hope to win it. The DUI brothers don't need this anymore. They need to move on. We need to move on from them. And I think this is going to be the year where all the Usos and all the damn Anoa'i family finally gets on their backs and give back to everyone.
Yeah. So, again, will this happen? Yeah, these are picks that we hope will happen or should happen for one way or another. And then we have the men's showcase of immortals. It's going to be Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, not one team on here really is, like saying, oh, wow, I want to see them win. So I honestly could throw a coin in the air and could toss a coin in the air and just walk away and not see who wins. James, your pick.
I'm with you. There's no true team because Alpha Academy is going to break up soon. Street Profits has the rumors, so it's going to be between Viking Raiders and Ricochet and Braun Strowman. I think I'm going to give Ricochet and Braun Strowman the victory in this one.
Interesting. All right. Lance, over to you.
Actually, James, I got to disagree with you on that one. I'm going with the Viking Raiders because they have, Valkyrie or Valhalla behind them. Granted, that's Sarah Logan, but still they have a third person in their corner.
All right, Joe, final pick.
Wow, 4 jobber tag teams. No wonder WWE wants FTR. Street Profits out the window. It's about time they break up. Alpha Academy, they're the jokes of the whole company. They should be out soon. Let's see, Ricochet and Braun Strowman. When the hell did this tag team ever get together?
About 2 months ago.
That shows you how much I fucking give a damn about WWE. I gotta agree with you, Lance. I like the way the Viking Raiders are looking. Their gimmick got a little upgraded. And it is Hollywood, so you want to probably look more the part. uh, out of these four jobber tag teams, yeah, I gotta say the Viking Raiders. And notice I say that with a sigh because there's no one better.
Just to recruit my history, Lance. Has the Street Profits ever won any titles? Did they win the Raw titles once?
I believe so.
Okay.
They've been
What?
Raw Tag Team Champions, SmackDown Tag Team Champions, NXT Tag Team Champions.
Okay.
So
So
that's it.
all right. So they do have some titles under their belt. So okay. If I had to pick a guess, I'd probably say maybe the Profits. But again, I read the rumors that they might split up, but they haven't really showed any real sign of it just yet. So again, I have to wait and see. And then Seth Rollins will be taking on Logan Paul. Now, what's interesting about this match is Logan Paul actually revealed that his contract will end the same night as WrestleMania. So, and he's not said anything about getting a second contract. A lot of people suggested that he was having a multi-year contract with a company. He does not. It was a one-year deal to see how things went. So the question is, what's going to happen with Logan Paul after WrestleMania? I personally don't care. But if I had to ask who's going to get the win on this one, I think Seth Rollins is going to get the win, regardless whether Paul gets a new contract or not. Lance, over to you.
Last night in the company, go fuck yourself. Seth's getting the win. He's getting the win.
All right. James, over to you.
I'm just gonna agree with you, Rick.
All right. And Joe, final pick of the night.
Well, it's time for Logan Paul to wear the baby blues. He's going to go on his back to Mr. Lynch.
All right. And there's going to be a triple threat match for the IC Championship. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus will. Gunther would have to defend his title against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Honestly, I think Gunther's been on a roll, and I think there's no reason why he should stop. For him to defeat both Sheamus and McIntyre, who were once both multi-time WWE champions, this is something that would say something for him. That would give him an extra push that I think he needs. Joe, what's your pick?
God, this ain't no Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage intercontinental battle here. I could care less. You got a guy who's the champion, looks like a thumb. You've got two other guys who were teaming or close to it. This is one of those matches that why? What's the even purpose of this piece of garbage match? This that they had no ounce of intelligence to put this. This is all I see is you're going to see Sheamus and McIntyre go against each other most of the match because neither one is going to try to let the other pin Gunther. Gunther looks like a total retard. It's like he's got Sergeant Slaughter's chin and Boris Zukov's face. So obviously this is a no-brainer. This is going to be Gunther who's going to take advantage of these two guys battling each other, and he's just going to sneak a win. This is a yawn match. I don't even give a damn for it. WWE, you could have done better.
All right.
Look at that. He's speechless, Lance, because I kept it short.
I know, right?
So, sorry, I'm trying to get my.
You know, I gotta say this. Right when we used to talk about WrestleMania, we will be excited. We will be like, "Oh man, this is the pinnacle," and it feels like it's just like another night of wrestling. It doesn't have that oomph. It doesn't have that. Just looking at these matches you're discussing, they're like, honestly, it's like, why? All of these are why matches. Like, why are we even watching this? Why do we even care? What is the investment? You know, anybody who watches it, maybe just because it is WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Besides that, honestly, you look at all these matches, there's nothing in this, all these multi-matches, many matches, mismatches. You know, it's most of the time when we do our picks, ladies and gentlemen, we usually get it, I would say like 98% out of 100, because it's really a yawn type show. Again, Rick, when you're talking about these matches, I've noticed that this is, you know, it's just not as exciting as it normally should be.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're looking back for years where we've always like every single minute of a show was like, wow, we couldn't love it when we're just brought into it, and we now, like you said, these new shows, it's just kind of like, okay, yep, okay, so I can see where you're going, and again with this show, I'm only gonna miss one half of the show, and I'm not really even worried about it. So it's like, what are you gonna do about it? So, anyways, why don't we move on? Bianca Belair will be taking on Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, this is a match, again, another match I would like to see. We have seen these two fight before, but they always have a great match. If I had to say who's going to win, I would want Asuka to win. But I have a weird feeling they might keep it on Bianca Belair. Lance, your pick.
I'm going with Bianca.
All right. Joe, over to you.
Time to clip that ponytail and move on. Let's give it to the Asian girl, because I like Godzilla movies.
All right, fair enough. James, your pick.
Going back to the Intercontinental, I would say Sheamus because that's a title he has not won. For Bianca has won the title has held the title for a year, so Asuka's gonna win this one.
All right. And again, like I said, I think it's just gonna be Asuka. I really hope it's Asuka because I'm sorry, but Bianca just bores the hell out of me.
Bianca is a flash in the pan. They needed it for their political reasons to give her the belt because of the theme lately in society. Now her time is done. She hasn't impressed anybody. She's a good athlete. Has the tools, but God, she's like as boring as wood. She doesn't captivate anybody. It's not like you see little girls being, oh, let's Bianca, let's be no. As far as Asuka is concerned, yes, Asuka's been there, went into the well also so many times, but compared to Bianca, I want to see something different. I want to see something better. And with the great Muda being inducted in the Hall of Fame, why not? Let's have another Muda and Asuka spraying the mist into Bianca's face.
Well, she has done that before, so that would definitely be interesting. All right, and the final match, which is I guess that is going to be at night 2 at WrestleMania, it is Roman Reigns who will be defending his undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes. Now, a lot of people, or some people, are still suggesting that Roman will actually defend his title, but I don't know. I'm wondering. I would think that Cody would be the right person to get the win. Lance, over to you.
Down goes the big dog. The tribal chief will be dethroned, and we will have an American Nightmare as our champion.
Yep, there you go. All right, James, over to you.
This is just a big old middle finger to AEW. It's like, hey, look, we can give Cody Rhodes a world title.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, over to you.
Obviously, like I said before with the Usos, it's time for these Anoys, Reigns, whatever the fuck he wants to call himself. It's time for him to go on his back, give up the belt. He's been a lackluster guy. He's done some impressive things, but It's garbage. It's ridiculous. Its era is done. And we all know this is obviously, gee, who's gonna win? This has obviously been thrown into Cody's contract. If I come back, you're giving me a world title belt. So this is a no-brainer. Is it going to be just a simple match? No. You'll probably have every fucking person get involved in this so Cody doesn't win. But at the end, it's going to be Cody Rhodes as your new AEW. Look at how I'm saying AEW. Thank you, James. Which he should have been AEW World Champion. He's going to be your WWE champion, just like James says, just to rub salt in AEW. But honestly, guys, do you think Cody's going to hold that belt for more than 6 months?
No.
6
Not
months.
6 months. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say 6 months. I think that's a strong possibility. Go ahead, James.
I see 6 months too.
Lance?
Yeah, 6 months. More than 6 months, I don't know about that, but yeah, 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the time that Roman's going to take that time out, and he's going to be literally take some time off, get some injuries. He's been active for a while. Yeah. Again, I think it's so it's so obvious that he's going to win. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, even though Roman's had this title for what 2+ years, it's not like he wrestles every in and out every week. This is something that Cody Rhodes claimed that when he gets the title, he's gonna wrestle every night, every week.
Now my question to y'all is that will they actually bring back a different title if Cody does win?
There is rumors that Cody wants a different belt.
Yeah.
Well, he has said that. He said that he wants another belt, and there is actually a Cody Rhodes belt, which is like the one winged. It's a winged belt with the Cody Rhodes logo over the eagle with a white strap. Now, when I looked at it, I'm like, no, I don't. I hope he doesn't wear that because it looks like shit.
Yeah.
So, if he just gets a belt and he wants the classic winged belt, fine. I can understand that. I can respect that. But for the love of Christ, don't fucking make your own custom belt like every other wrestler's done. We don't need it.
You know what's funny, Rick? Didn't he have he had the white strapped Intercontinental belt when he won it, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So don't be surprised. You might see a belt like that.
Oh, we've already seen it. It's already on the page.
Then look how funny that is. Isn't that a coinky dink?
But it's also something that that can be sold.
Right.
I just don't want to see it. Him actually wearing it. I just think it would just look really stupid and silly.
That's not a belt that they gonna bring out. That's just a custom belt that's for him only.
Yeah, exactly. Now, last night WWE had Snoop Dogg's belt, which is all gold with just a little of the green slash across the underneath the W's, and they were selling that for $749. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Jeez.
When I saw that belt, I thought they were just re-upping Daniel Bryan's eco-friendly belt that they had when he was WWE champion. That's what the damn thing looks like.
Yeah, it's just fucking silly. So.
And why should we give a washed-up piece of crap who's on drugs most of the time?
Hey! I'm washed up. I do drugs all the time.
Yes, but you actually accomplish stuff. You put up with us. You put up with us. That's enough.
That's true.
You got to be the man to be in this bowl of fruits and nuts here. So Snoop Dogg, he just annoys the shit out of me. Should never have been in the position he is. He can take his little Monet niece or uncle, cousin, whatever the fuck she is, and just sell her for drugs because that's the only thing she's good for.
Well, I think it's going to wrap this up with this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I would like to thank Terry3G, who's hanging out in the chat room with us. I would also like to thank James for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you, James.
You also have Mark K, who was in the chat room as well.
Oh, thank you, Mark, again. Yep. I also want to give a quick shout out to our good friends, Mr. and Mrs. A, over at BC Games and More. You can find them over on YouTube in the group section. They talk a lot about cover a lot of old classic retro wrestling games. I'm sorry, not wrestling video games. They do just pretty much about everything. They do. Oh my God, my brain is not working.
That's okay. You mentioned now. See, he's the one with a brain problem. I'm having I'm fucking Daffy, either Daffy Duck or somebody with a speech impairment.
All right, guys. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up this one. So for the Hardcore Crew, I'm your hardcore host, Rickett, saying we'll see you when we see you.
Buy this shirt.
Yeah, you cheap bastards. Do buy the fucking shirt already.
We need the money.